Outreach Manager. Thank you, Heidi. I'm Lisa Rivera, and I'm the Outreach Manager at Cameo. I work on statewide programs with Heidi and on the CDFI incubator with Emily, and I live in the southern, we're in LA. This is the LA group. I'm in the Redondo Beach area, and I'm actually moving to Torrance soon, but I've been in the South Bay for the last 15 years. Today's topic, we're highlighting Women's History Month. And so we're highlighting the Los Angeles Women's Business Centers today. We have 3 awesome guest speakers who are going to talk about their programs and some of the special women businesses in their lives that they've helped. So we're excited to hear from them. Oops. There we go. While we get kicked off here, we'd love to hear from you. So in the chat, make sure you put your name, organization, and this time I changed it up a little bit. If you could share some of your favorite women-owned small businesses with us to go along with the theme. So I'll give you guys a moment to do that in the chat. We'd love to know who's here. Heidi from Cameo, Alicia's Tamales, cool. Local to the Bay Area, right? Yeah. Julia, nice to see you, to have you here from CRC. Wow, she went from farmer's market to a contract with the Golden State Warriors. That's amazing. We love to hear those stories. Chris Horton, nice to see you. All right, so I'll give you guys a moment to do that. Go ahead and keep doing that while we go through the slides. So to set the stage, I wanted to share a few statistics with you regarding women businesses. So US women business owners by the numbers, more than 11.6 million firms are owned by women. They generate 1.7 trillion in sales, and they employ nearly 9 million people. And Heidi will drop the link if you want to read further along on all the statistics that they have on the website and their document, that the report that they came up with. In the past 5 years, total employment by women-owned businesses rose 8%, 1.8% for all other businesses. 5.4 million firms are majority owned by women of color in the US. And in 2021, 1.1 million of all businesses were owned by women. So these are incredible numbers. We wanted to just set the stage for Women's History Month to just reflect on those numbers and see how far we've come along. There's still a lot of work to be done, right? But that's a huge accomplishment for where we are now. So now I'd like to welcome my co-host, Larry Johnson. He's the program lead advisor at, sorry, one moment.
El Camino College.
Yes. Larry Johnson has deep executive experience leading established and startup enterprises. He is the founder and CEO of LR Johnson Associates LLC, a specialty products marketing and distribution firm. In addition, Larry provides strategic business consulting services for small and medium-sized businesses through the Small Business Development Center at El Camino College, which is super close to me. Businesses that Larry has provided consulting services include apparel, manufacturers, food and beverage processors, retail sales businesses, hard goods manufacturers, and professional services firms. He also sits on our steering committee. So I am so excited to toss it over to him. He will be introducing our guest speakers and talking a little bit more about EA. I'll toss it over to you, Larry.
Great. Thank you very much, Lisa. Very happy to be here and to be with everyone. This is really an exciting event and opportunity. I always tell the folks that I counsel that my most successful entrepreneurs tend to be women. And I think there are a lot of reason for that, because women run families, they certainly run relationships with me in all of my life, and they really have an ability to manage better, I think, instinctively. And I'll give you one little example of that from my experience. And I do work internationally with a number of organizations, and one of the organizations that I'm on the board of drills water wells in Africa, in the country of Niger, poorest country in the world. And in that process, we drill the wells and train the people to maintain the wells. And in those communities, in those villages, it's the women who run and maintain those wells. And it's because they are reliable. They understand what it means to keep an orderly facility. And they charge a modest amount for the maintenance and upkeep of the well from the villagers. And they take the monies that they make and they spend that money on buying items to sell and to make, seeds to grow crops, and money to buy farm animals to raise and domesticate. With all the extra time from not having to fetch water, they've started little entrepreneurial businesses. And I think this is a core example of the strength of women, even in just the most desperate situations, to situations here in the Western world where we have all the conveniences. Women are still exceeding. So it's a pleasure to be here with women of accomplishment and people who are supporting them. So we here at Entrepreneurship Advantage are here to create economic opportunity for entrepreneurs and small businesses here in LA County. We want to connect human, technical, and capital resources through collaborating with everyone in this region. Now, we're going to do, we do this through small group networking. Since the pandemic, what has it been like for you? Uptake in clientele, what kinds of demographics are you seeing? What types of businesses have you been serving? Is there something different about the business that you're serving? So we're going to go into small groups now and have you talk about these issues, and then we'll catch you on the end and see how that went.
Thank you, Larry. So I just dropped a Google Doc in the chat in case you forget these lists of questions when you're in your small group. It's meant to be a guide, so get through whatever you can. Of course, introduce yourself first. Maybe highlight, your favorite women-owned small business before you dive into the questions, but this is just a guide for you. You'll be there for 10 minutes, and Heidi's gonna magically send us over to the rooms. So you should see in a moment something on your screen to join the room, and we'll see you back in a bit. Can you please pause the recording for me, Heidi?
We came into contact with, and also that the number of people interested in starting food businesses was extremely significant. And we're getting lots of folks there, but it's also a risky area because it's where you see a lot of failures. So whatever we can do as support teams for folks in the food industry is helping to boost their readiness and ability to compete in this marketplace. I often tell my clients that it's not about the thing that you are selling. It's about creating an image, a brand around what you are doing to distinguish yourself from everybody else who's doing it. There's a reason why one taco stand gets all the customers, and it doesn't always have to deal with what it tastes like. Anyone else?
I'll go next. This is Julia. One of the things that I really, truly, I enjoy watching during the pandemic and hosting some workshops for the youth is how many of our youth actually started a side business to kind of step up and really help out their parents. One, it was really hard. It was a combination of like, wow, they shouldn't have to worry about that. But in reality, that's what they were going through. But it was really, it was adorable to see them stepping into that role of leadership and really identifying like, wow, I know how to make little mini donuts, and they got really creative, or they went and they were, doing nails, just seeing the youth really embracing that skill that, that could eventually become into something more right in the future. So I was really happy to see that. And at the same time, it just kind of showed the energy to where our youth were really going when it came to starting their own business, just really worrying about their families. And so it was just something that I saw during the pandemic. And, a lot of them still have their business unto this day, and they're, in high school now. So it's interesting to see where that's where it's gonna take them once they're out of high school.
Great. Anna Marie?
Yes, hi everyone. Anna Marie Cruz with ICIC. A couple of takeaways from our group chat. One is this dream fund that Claudia shared about. Claudia, I'm sure you'd like to share more information, but just really great opportunity for early stage or pre-revenue businesses to participate in TA and then qualify for a grant. And then also, we were talking in the group about the uptick in startups. And one of the things that I have heard from other entrepreneurs in the capital space is whether these upticks are indicative of potentially, sustaining businesses, or if it was in response to the mandatory closures, especially around childcare and other industries that have forced women to start something to replace their job. So being sort of conscientious of what these trends are telling us and what the data suggests versus our assumptions versus what sorts of support we actually need to create as TA and lender or fund providers.
I have a quick question that I don't want to take up too much time. So if you could just put your answer in the chat, is that, are you seeing clients who had crappy retail jobs before, or maybe bad restaurant jobs, and decided that they can replace those not so great wages with something that's more fits with their life? So I'm just wondering if we're seeing that. And then, yeah, that's
Well,
okay.
I'll jump on that one because this relates to raising capital. I had a fellow who had 15 years experience in working both back of the house and front of the house in restaurants, went to start a restaurant business and needed capital, but had about $10,000 or $12,000 himself, but that wasn't enough to start a restaurant. So, and he said, well, I'm not really wealthy and my family's not wealthy. How am I going to do it? And I said, well, you work for a lot of good companies in this town. What was your relationship with the owners and the general managers? He said, well, pretty good. I said, then how about pitching your idea to them? Long story short, he was able to raise $300,000 within 6 months. He was a good employee. Now he's going to be a good business owner. So that's a form of crowd raising, but that's people who you've made a good impression with may be willing to support you.
I was going to say, Heidi, the only thing I'll share is that out of our cohort of the 65 women that we work with at Cal State LA, about 80% of them actually have a master's degree or a PhD and actually had worked in corporate America and decided that the pandemic was the epitome of just the bottom of the barrel work that they were doing. And they were like, enough, I think I need to do my own thing. So they actually just jumped, which I think also makes them really great entrepreneurs in the sense that, they're committed to sticking it out, and they know that it's going to be hard. But I have a lot of them who were in really high positions and just decided that, it just wasn't good enough, right? And the pandemic kind of just broke through that and launched them into business, which I think is beautiful to see in so many different ways.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we're ready for our guest speakers, and we're going to start with Ron Fong. Ron is the Executive Director of the Asian Pacific Islander Small Business Collaborative, and I'm very excited to have Ron. Ron, you're on.
Thanks, Larry. For some of you that weren't with Entrepreneurship Advantage from the beginning, Larry was our original host. We used to meet at his office over on Hawthorne Boulevard near El Camino College. And it's great to continue to see him involved with this group. I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk about Asian Pacific Islander Small Business Collaborative. We are an SBA Women's Business Center. Next, please. Thanks, Liza. So our mission is to assist the development of small and micro businesses in Los Angeles County with a focus on 6 particular API communities. Next, please. And the reason why we focus on those 6 communities is because we're a collaborative, and our collaborative consists of these 6 organizations that focus on API communities in Los Angeles. Next, please. And so what makes us unique as a collaborative is that combined, we're large enough to serve all of Los Angeles County, as we are to do as a SBA Women's Business Center, but we're local in 6 particular communities. The executive directors of my partner agencies form my board of directors. I give each of them funding so that they hire a business counselor that's based in their organizations, based in the communities they serve. So we're really big enough to serve all of LA County, but we're local in those communities. And so, for example, I've got a business counselor at Korean Youth and Community Center. KYCC has been serving the Koreatown community for over 40 years. Business assistance is part of a continuum of services that they provide: social services, after school care, childcare. All of that are some of the things that they provide to the Korean speaking community in Los Angeles. And as a result, they, and as each of our partners is, they're the trusted resource in their communities. And it's through them that we're able to connect with people and provide services that we do. Next, please. So our clients, over 90% are Asian American and Pacific Islanders. Over 60% are women. 85% are low and moderate income. We provide most of our training in languages other than English. And about 1/3 of our work is around starting up a business. Next, please. Our services are basically in 3 categories. We do entrepreneur training programs, which are multiple course programs all around starting what you need to know to start a business. We do individual workshops. Last year, we did about 60 of them on various topics that are pertinent to small business owners these days. And then we do individual business counseling. And as with, I think, most of the SBA TA providers, our services are free, and ours are provided in a linguistically and culturally appropriate manner. Next, please. So an example of one of our clients is the Park's Finest. Owners are John Eric and Christine Erical Concordia. John Eric has a long association with us, or through our partner, Search to Involve Filipino Americans. He actually attended their youth programs when he was a kid, doing various after-school programs there. He and Christine came back, attended our entrepreneur training program, and eventually launched a Filipino catering business, which they ran out of their backyard. We helped them write a business plan. We helped them with budgeting, financing, licensing. help them get into their first brick and mortar, which they just celebrated their 10th anniversary. Christine is very involved in the business end of the business, while John handles most of the cooking. Christine in particular has been key in expanding their catering business and has lined up repeat business with folks like the Los Angeles Dodgers, where Christine provides, in several cases, catering for visiting baseball teams. Next, please. So those are our partners again. We have SBA, an SBA contract, as I mentioned. We also do work through the state GoBiz office and RA TAPE, Technical Assistance Expansion Program recipient as well. We've been pretty successful with what we've been doing. We've won 2 national SBA awards, I think 3 local district awards, a state award. And last year we were chosen as a Bank of America Neighborhood Builders awardee for Los Angeles market. So that's our story. And I'm gonna pass it back to Larry.
Thank you very much. I think we're ready for our next speaker. Who do we have next, Liza? Ron again. No, we're happy to welcome Swan Do. Swan Do is the Women Business Center Director for the Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, PACE. Swan, please get started with your presentation.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, everybody. As Larry said, my name is Swan Do. I'm Director for the Women's Business Centers. Do I show my presentations or do you have the presentations up already?
I'm queuing it right now, 1 moment.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. I have been with PACE for the past 15 years. So what I do, doing pretty much the forefront serving the entrepreneurs in the Los Angeles County to start with assisting startup and expansions. I pretty much will focus on supporting underserved populations such as women, minority, immigrants, and low-income individual. Since I become the director for since 2010, I have overseen the administrative of the SBA Women's Business Center, which is funded in part through the corporation's agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administrations. The Office of the Women's Small Business Ownership, the Women's Business Center provide all prospective entrepreneur and existing business owners educational tools necessary to business success. We are considered a one-stop shop for all the business need. So a little bit about PACE. PACE as a whole, PACE stands for Asian Consortium in Employment, community development organization that annually serve approximately 50,000 low-income individual residents of the Los Angeles area by creating economic solutions to meet the challenges of employment, education, housing, and environment and business development in the Pacific, Asian, and other diverse communities. So if you're looking on the right-hand side, we have 5 different core services, and business development centers will be the one that we're focusing on today. So we provide technical training, assistance, access to capital for entrepreneur and small business owners. Recently, for the going on 3 years now, we've had a procurement department. So we assist with bidding, minority certifications. I myself assist with minority certifications and also assist client with the building the capability statements and other good stuff to get the procurement contract ready. So about PACE, Business Development Centers. So PACE, established in 1993, PACE is funded by the Los Angeles Business Source Program and the SBA lender and EDA lenders and iBank lenders and also the certified CDFI, which stands for Community Development Financial Institute. And we also have a women's business centers within the Business Development Center, which is starting 24. And then the SBA, of course, is funded by the SBA Women's Business Centers. Sorry. We are advanced the wealth of community by giving individuals a tool to develop sustainable businesses and also to manage their personal financial success. So here's our service we break down into in our department. We have trainings, we have one-on-one consultations, we have contract support, we have lending, and we have packaging. And just briefly, during the training, we help with startup workshop, getting lessons permit. With our key signatures entrepreneur training program, we also offer that twice a year. We actually have one going on right now with full scholarship, having anyone who are affected by COVID-19 starting the business or want to start a business. So we have full scholarship to refund them if they complete the workshop. Success story. Okay, let's go jump into success story. So I'd like to share with you two success story. The first one is, her name is Brandy Eager. She began her private practice as a psychologist and later decided to take a leap of starting a general psychologist therapy business. She started her business in Silver Lake Psychology, investing in a large office space and hiring more talented and experienced therapists. So her practice grew, and she mirrored in the non-glamorous part of being a business owner, learning acronym like ADP, ROI, and EDD. She lacked the skills of managing money and people. She was working 14 hours a day doing different tasks, including negotiating deals on office space and training staff. 1 year into her business room, with 12 therapists and 2 offices, she was encountering financial hardship. She learned that growing doesn't equal profit, sucked by taxes, high overhead, and non-financial management skill. So fortunately, she sought out to PACE Women's Business Centers in downtown Los Angeles. We are a nonprofit organization that teach business skills to female entrepreneurs. So Brandy joined the PACE Women's Business Mentor Program, which connect retired business leadership leaders to female entrepreneurs. So with the help from our centers, our staff, and also with our volunteer, Robert McKean, he retired right now. He's the business executive. Shortly after, she learned accounting skills and financial strategy that help her business to become profitable while growing. So Brandy learned that staff needs a combination of freedom and structure. She has also learned there are needs to be a watchful eyes on anyone managing the accounting, not understanding and paying attention to can lead financial mismanagement. Now, Silver Lake Psychology is serving 8 locations in the US. Brandy is very pleased to say that the practice is stable with adequate resources and growing sustainable growth. They are ready for the next set of challenges, and they can count that PACE Women's Business are here to help her. So that's one of the success story. And the other one is Susie. Her name is OG Jament. She owns a sushi restaurant. She with her husband, should I say, in the Los Angeles over a decade. So Ms. Jiment reached out to PACE in March of 2020, desperately in need to help to apply for COVID-19 resources and originally need money to sustain the family-owned restaurant. During the COVID-19, OG shared that her business is very slow, but the continuing paying her employee during the COVID-19 pandemic through her retirement account, which was depleting quickly because she knows that her staff needed paycheck to survive as well. So prior to COVID-19, she employed a total of 10 employees. Since she is no longer, no income, or should I say, cash coming, cash flow, they were forced to cut her staff in less than half. And their function was to take phone order for pickup and to deliver food to customer just to keep the business afloat. So she reached out to me, so I helped her with the SBA, EIDL, and PPP loan in March 2020. And I reached out to the SBA call centers to follow up after 2 weeks passes. and found out that the system contained no record of her filing or submissions. The lady from the call center was so helpful and kind to assist with the process. And after submitting additional information sent to the business call, within 2 weeks, her applications got reinstated to the SBA system. Client received $8,000 advance through the SBA EIDL on April 22nd. So Ms. Ochi indicated that she applied for the SBA PPP loan through the Wells Fargo Bank prior, but she has not heard back from anyone. She decided, she indicated that she was worried about PPP loan might deplete it, and asked if I could assist her to apply through the PACE. So she even agreed to accept less amount of $50,000, which was lower than what she could qualify. After all the document was submitted, the SBA portal shut down and decided to send her through another program. Before we assist client through another program, we got a call from the client. She indicated Wells Fargo just funded her PPP loan with the amount of $56,000 plus on May 7 of 2020. So client was ecstatic, and she said that just saw PPP loan went through, and she called me and she said that she wanted to say thank you, and she felt like she won the lottery. So since she received her PPP loan, the owner brought back her full staff. Client reached out to us after we shared with client that the round PPP loan was available to apply. She was informed to go through the lender that assists her with the PPP loan on the first round. She refused, and she would like PACE to assist with the process for the second round PPP loan. She indicated that she would talk to PACE staff much easier and get the work done faster. Client got her second PPP loan through us on January 2021 for $79,000. So it was very grateful to see that we could make a difference, not only for one individual restaurant owner, but to save 10 jobs within the community and making a difference in their staff families. So that is my 2 success story.
Thank you so much, Swan. I'm dropping your contact information in the chat in case people want to connect with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now we have as our final speaker, Celeste Young Ramos. Celeste is the Food Industry Program Manager for the New Family Center Women's Business Center. And we're excited to have Celeste tell us about her program and its benefits to women.
Well, all right. Thank you, Larry and Lisa, for inviting me today to talk about the New Women's Business Center. Let's see where our slides are. So we are located in 3 locations. We have one in Canoga Park, Van Nuys, and about 6 months ago, we also opened a location in the Palmdale, Lancaster area. Next slide, please. And I am the food industry program manager there. So I support all of the restaurant, food manufacturing, and cottage food industry people. Next slide, please. So New is our parent nonprofit. They're an organization that's been around for 35 years. They started with a group of women wanting to help improve the economic mobility of Latinas in the Los Angeles market. And with an investment of $95,000, they've now expanded to over $350 million. They provide family support, low-income housing, first-time buyer programs, diapers, tutoring, you name it. If a family needs it to be successful and avoid poverty and homelessness, they provide it. And the beliefs of the organization is they believe an economic stability and mobility is a fundamental human right. Their vision is the world where a generation of women and families are empowered to thrive. And their mission is to strike economic mobility for all women and families through wealth creation, housing, education, entrepreneurship, and advancement for economic justice. So we provide all of those resources for the home. And 2 years ago, in April 1st will be our anniversary, we actually became a women's business center. So it was a wonderful blending of supporting the family and now helping to create entrepreneurship and more jobs in the community. Next slide, please. So we are funded by TAPE and also a grant from Wells Fargo. And we have several industry-specific programs inside of TAPE. One is our Ready Open Serve food program, where we service all food businesses, from startups to existing restaurants, and all the programs that we offer. We offer full business planning through Life Plan and Dream Builder. We also have over 100 workshops every single month in English, and we have a large portion in Spanish as well. And we also have the ability to counsel in Russian and Armenian. Another program that we have is Made in LA, which is fashion manufacturing. And then we have a program called Créase tu Negocio, and I apologize if my Spanish translation is not good there, Latina Biz. And this was focusing on swap meets. So we went out and contacted people in swap meets to get them to go through our services. And I'll go a little bit more in that in just a moment. Next slide, please. We also created WBC on the road. So during the pandemic, of course, we were operating the majority through Zoom as everyone else, which was really great for us because it did help to expand our area. And the clients we serve are in Los Angeles County, Orange County, and the eastern part of Ventura County. So we have a very broad base, but we found that our workshops and our programs were so powerful that we've been attracting people in our workshops from all over the country. And we had to cut the ones off from that were coming from out of the country to attend those. But we developed a program in English and Spanish that we take out to low-income housing areas to teach them how to become solo entrepreneurs, such as in cottage food or small fashion manufacturing and things like that, street vending, so they can get their first foot into those, the lowest cost of entry type businesses. This last 6 months, we did add on a section focusing on women in entertainment, where we teach them screenplay writing, directing, anything related to entertainment. And we're getting ready to launch our micro business mentoring, where we have volunteers, experienced mentors that are willing to help out to provide mentoring services. And one of our programs that we're very excited about there is in their childcare, where they'll be helping family home childcare centers that are state licensed, or those wanting to get state licensed to be able to create those types of businesses in the home. Because that's one thing we found during the pandemic, is that women entrepreneurs want more flexibility so that they can be available to their families. And many have been displaced in the workforce during the pandemic. So they've started to think about, maybe I'll create my own business and use the skills that I have. Next slide. So the Ready Open Serve program that I support, in there, we have developed 2 specific classes. One is cottage food, home-based foods, and the other one is catering. And these are 6-week programs where we take them from their business planning through getting themselves state and local licenses. Then we talk about creating their product and determining the cost of goods so they can adequately determine their prices. We take them through marketing, accounting, and packaging. And all of these programs that I've been mentioning follow somewhat the same type of progression of steps. And during this time, you know, we have them attend these workshops. We give them one-on-one consultations with vetted professionals in those fields that are operating those types of businesses. And then we also have a really great funding department that help them to fund their projects, or, you know, get credit ready or loan ready when the time comes that they're able to qualify. So that's been extremely helpful. This was one of our clients, Katina Kyler, who opened a restaurant, a soul food restaurant called Sweet Blessings by Kyler in Van Nuys area. And she actually started through one of our programs, selling, doing the business plan, starting selling her food at a swap meet, was then able to move into a brick and mortar. Next slide, please. The fashion program also has a 6-week program where, and it's led by a person that came through the new family center that had fallen on bad times and was able to, get back on good footing, joined our team. Actually, she had received an Oscar for costume design in her home country, and she had immigrated here with her son with $0. And she's now running our fashion program. And they have 158 clients that are in that program. They take them all the way from building their story and brand positioning. They talk about the legal side of the business and how to protect and trademark their items. They go through manufacturing and production, positioning their brand, and then how to sell. And that's one thing that I think we're creative with too, is that not only do we teach them how to set up the business, but we also host different events. Like we had a holiday bazaar. So we also create these events where our clients can come and try to retail or sell their food, their clothing, whatever items and services they have. And that also gives us like a one-on-one to see them in action, so we can give them feedback to help them become better sellers of their items and set things up better. And people have found that really helpful. Next slide. As I said, we have a whole program centered around the swap meet community. They have 68 clients that they've attracted. And, it's interesting because a lot of clients that we have are in operation, but they're not in operation legally. They may have a seller's permit, but they don't have a business license or other things. They don't know how to decrease liability in their business by incorporating when it's appropriate. And they have a lot of difficulty with systems like accounting and human resources particularly. So those are things that we help, and we have weekly phone calls with these people to help them grow their businesses, and the word's getting out and the program's really expanding. And we also have a team of consultants that work with just the Spanish speaking. We have newsletters we send out every week in English, and everything we do is translated in Spanish. So we have great inclusion for a large part of the workforce and the underserved that we are supporting. Next slide, please. So I wanted to share with you, we have a couple examples, and I'm going to be, because I'm in restaurants, I'm going to share mine. So I have one person that she is from South America, and I'm sorry, right now I can't remember what country, but Colombia. And she specialized in corn empanadas, and called arepas. And so she came to us with an idea for that. We helped her with her business plan. We got her into starting in farmers markets. She was very successful there. We helped her to get funding, and she was able to get a food truck. And we worked with her operations. Her husband got really big. Her husband started working with her, and now she's getting a second food truck. So that was really exciting. She's been featured in LA Eater as one of the top food trucks in the area. And another company, like we work with people that already have businesses. So we had the Rodriguez family. They own Zingo's Tacos in LA. They had been in operation about 4 or 5 years working at farmers markets and had the taco location, but they weren't very organized, and the parents had started it. Now the children were taking over, and they wanted it to be more formalized and operating more smoothly. And so we help them navigate the issues with communicating with your parents and trying to bring things up into the 21st century. And we help them with organizing their floor plan to be more effective, helping them to decide what would be good equipment they would use. we helped them to get themselves more loan ready, and we were able to get them a $350,000 loan, which helped them to buy the building that they were operating out. Then they were able to also get PPP, and we helped them with employee retention credits, and everything that was available through COVID, we were able to help them qualify for, and then help plan out what's the best use of those funds so that they could have long-term stability. Because even though they were in operation, part of the family weren't even getting paid. You know, all the kids weren't getting paid. So I was like, well, let's figure out how you can get paid. So that has been a great experience for them, and being open to learning and getting online and having to pivot. That's been, I think, our biggest thing is we've seen clients pivoting from being employees to wanting to be entrepreneurs. And we're here to support them. So thank you very much for letting me share.
That's really interesting, Celeste. I'd love to hear more at another time about the low-income housing and some of the other things you mentioned. And I think it was just announced that New has Impresario, which is going to be another venture fund type of like equity, right?
And you know, the thing is that to run a successful business, you got to have a house that's running successfully too, because they go hand in hand. And particularly, you know, that we want them to be successful anyway they need to be.
Great.
And I'll put my contact information for our center in the chat if anyone would like to get in touch with us.
Yeah, if anybody is interested in supporting housing, there's a bill 1834. There's a couple of bills out there. 1834 is a Durazo bill that include rent collection from protect renters from being harassed in rent collection. It's currently not under protected rental debts is not protected. And then there's another bill, I think it's 1170. No, it's a Banta bill. It's Mia Banta that is giving tenants first right of refusal and or closure or something like that when there's a foreclosure. Anyway, so there's some interesting things. But anyway, Lisa.
Yeah, thank
Larry?
you so much. I realize that we're past time, and I thank you for those that have stuck around. I just want to wrap us up with a few Cameo updates and events that we have coming up. This will definitely all be posted on our website, and a follow-up email will be sent with everybody's contact information, slide decks, recording, etc. But we'd love for you to join us for our upcoming Cameo events in April. We have a CalSavers Train the Trainer on April 7th, Impact Notes with ICA on April 13th, our Advocacy Day prep call on the 21st, because we have Advocacy Day coming up on April 27th. It's a full day event. It will be virtual, so more information will be sent. And just as a reminder, our next EA meeting will be a virtual meetup, but we will be meeting in person in July. More details on that will come, but our next meeting will be on May 26th at 11. If you have any questions, make sure to contact us and I will send all of the follow-up information. Thank you so much, Larry, for co-hosting, and to our speakers for being here today. It was so great to hear about all the amazing programs that you're all doing and the impact that you're making on all of these great small businesses. Thanks, everybody. And
yeah,
go ahead,
before
Heidi.
we go, Lisa, I just want to say something about Train the Trainer for CalSavers. Everybody knows that if they have businesses over 5 by the end of June, they're supposed to have some kind of retirement program in place. And CalSavers is a great way, very easy, low cost, no cost way for employers to make that available to their employees.
Yeah, the deadline's coming up, I believe, June 30th. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you all. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you. Heidi, go ahead and stop recording.